really just disconnected, and we were just together as a family, as a unit, and it was beautiful. It was real beautiful. And thank our viewers for being patient with us and allowing us to take some space. Excuse me. This raspberry iced tea is delicious.
You want that to stay in, or you want that?
Keep it.
Yeah, whatever's organic. We're organic here. We live, good, bad, local. Look how I'm like,
The good, the bad, the local.
I'm thinking Dane by Local Leadership Conference. The good,
The bad.
the bad,
The
the breakthrough. Good, bad,
Good, bad
breakthrough.
breakthrough podcast.
Good, bad breakthrough podcast.
Yes.
We live. We're Dane by Local. We're in Dane County. We're local members of the
Good.
community and
Yeah.
organizations.
I got my receipt today.
Did you? I'm so proud of you. I got my invoice.
Right. Because Andrew paid for the membership.
You're so sweet.
He was like, well, your nonprofit,
We were like,
the
we're gonna take care of-
nonprofit paid for my membership.
Yep, empowering small
Yeah.
businesses, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing what we're
For
doing.
my businesses membership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my businesses.
For one of the
Labels.
companies.
For y'all that don't know, my name is Drew.
I'm Keena.
What's up? Welcome. We are on episode 11, 12.
12.
Is
I
it
think?
12? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
this is number
producer
12.
Jason Hafman at Your Core Communications. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm not clapping too loud because he starts turning stuff down. Episode 12. Thank you, Jason Hafman, for bringing us in on this wonderful journey that you've helped create. This has been beautiful.
Mhm.
Without Jason, none of this happens.
That's right.
You know what? For those that don't know, Jason Hafman at Your Core Communications.
Yes.
Love him. He's involved in many different things. He's also involved with Dane by Local. Does a lot of videos, a lot of podcasts. He has his own podcast out there, killing it. If you like the Packers, NFC North Division, he's all about it. He goes live with his, I believe it's his brother.
His brother.
It's his brother.
Yep.
Currently working for Project Home, project manager there. Just a wonderful human being. And for those who don't know, Keena and I, when we started this podcast, and Andrea, we were on the phone one day. We were just like, I think I might have been using the bathroom, and I was like, "Are you recording right now? Like, this content needs to go live."
Yeah.
And Jason had always said, if there's anything you want to do together, just keep me in the loop, and send Jason a message like, "Hey, can you start doing this podcast with us? We don't know how to do it, and we want to learn." He's like, "Yeah, let's go." And we put our big girl straps on, and we geared up, and here we are.
Me and Andrew are very grassroots. Jason has a lot more experience with us, with the sound, with everything, So I'm thankful that we have a really great team, and we're putting together this show very organically.
Yeah, lots of grace, lots of gratitude.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you that I do love. I love the pivots last week that you made.
Well, thank
with
you.
the kids. I want to give you a high five.
Thanks.
I haven't made time to go out of my way to tell you that. But when we found out how Alicia ended up on podcast, because did you hear the story?
Well, I found out when they
right
got
then and
here.
there. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
when they were on their way, I think I found out.
Isn't that funny?
That she was coming on the show. So yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
So how did you find out? Because she when they got here, she was like, "Oh, my dad's not here," and I was like, "No, you thought that that your dad was gonna be here, or your mom was gonna be here." She's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, nope.
Yeah,
it's just y'all two."
Well, because Keisha had asked her like, "Hey, can you come out here with me?"
Yeah.
But he didn't tell her that she was gonna be on the podcast.
And she didn't know that
so
either.
She didn't know until it was so funny.
And I just told him, I was like, "You can bring a friend if you want."
Yeah.
And so he brought Alicia.
Yeah. And I'm always giving her a hard time because she hasn't listened to the podcast yet.
He didn't either.
You know what I mean?
And he won't.
Yeah. I don't know if Alicia will either.
He won't. He said he doesn't like to hear himself on camera.
Yeah. But I really appreciate that. We're going through a time as a family where we just made space for everything for 2 days, 3 days. And then spring break, we also made space for that. And it was really needed, And I think that a part of finding your authentic version of yourselves for our listeners and for our audience and for our viewers, it's so important to prioritize your well-being. And I really realized that over the last 2 weeks. I probably had like 3 or 4 days where I was like, I just need space. I want to disconnect from all the worldly variables, businesses, money, finance, bills, people, networking, projects. I was like, I just want to clear my plate and I want to spend time with my family. I got chills. I don't know if that was you or me. It's probably both of us.
Maybe.
But it was thank you, Jason. Thank you for the vibrations. But just to be able to clear your plate and say to yourself, like, you know what, if no one's more important than my family, then my actions should probably correlate that. Because a lot of people were all like, oh, we got bills to pay, oh, we got this, oh, we got that, oh, we can't miss work because I'm almost there, I'm on my student loan, I need my part-time job, I can't miss the part-time job because the car note's late, oh, I gotta do this third, we're always chasing. And it was so refreshing just to not be a part of the chase. Just be like, you know what, I'm gonna Thelma and Louise this real quick, and I'm just gonna drive off this
Here you
cliff.
go, Thelma and Louise.
I love Thelma and Louise analogy. I'm just gonna drive, and I'm just flying off the cliff. I'm just saying hi to people. You know what I'm saying? We dancing in the wind. It's like slow motion. You know what I'm saying? I land gently on the bottom of the cliff.
Because I was gonna say, did they die or not?
Well, I don't think that was determined in the movie Thelma and Louise.
Okay, because I haven't seen it, so this is an honest question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're not paid sponsors of Thelma and Louise, or I don't know what production company that is, but I'm just saying, we land soft. It was left for interpretation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No interpretation on this one. I we just disconnected, and we were just together as a family, as a unit, and it was beautiful. It was real beautiful. And thank our viewers for being patient with us and allowing us to take some space. But I want to talk about that. I want to talk about like the importance of disconnecting from all the variables in reality. And we don't have to use the word disconnecting, but the importance of, making time for your mental health. And it's not about, more or less, but I think that when it comes to like, the mindfulness, Ruji Wellness is what you're all about. And I think that you can share what that is with our viewers and just kind of discuss the importance of mental health.
If you are not used to having your self-care and your wellness be a part of your daily ritual or routine, then the disconnect feels like maybe it feels like it's like this grand thing that is like, that's like, okay, I disconnected. And then at the end of the disconnect, then like, if it's not a regular thing, then after the disconnect is like overwhelming regret or something. Maybe or maybe not regret, but like overwhelm, because if you disconnect as a grand thing, right? Oh, I got to take time off and disconnect. It's not a part of my regular practice. Then it might feel like overwhelmed, because then it's like you feel like you're behind, right? Because it's like, how do I take time off while also be able to not feel like the more time that I take, I feel guilty because I'm getting behind on things happening in my life. If you are used to the everyday like hustle and bustle. And so I think that to develop a practice of making it a part of every day, whether it's like 5 minutes a day, whether it's an hour. I seen something online that was like, you have to be rich in order to take an hour of time every day to meditate, right? And I was trained differently, right? Like I was trained in my yoga teacher training. I remember one of my instructors, Anita, she said, if you every day take 5 minutes, but if it's an especially busy day, then take 10, right? Like take more time if it's just 5, right? Or if it was going to be a regularly 30 minutes on the busiest, most craziest days, then take an hour. If you create the time and the space for that, then that makes the time and the space for everything else, right? Or another way to put it would be prioritize your wellness practices. And then your wellness practices create the space for, everything else that you have to do in life. It gives way for those things.
I know there's been multiple conversations that I've had with you and Andrea, and just being aware of myself and being aware of my surroundings and being, conscious and alert of how my body and my persona responds to different activities. I've realized that if my schedule is loaded, you know, back to 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 back, if I don't allow myself to prioritize my mental health, to create space before I transition, I subconsciously go into this autopilot mode.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm being like Drew, but I'm just going through the motions, Drew. You know, it's like my values and beliefs are just surface level.
Yeah.
You know, because
coasting.
Yeah, I like that. Oh my gosh, I really resonate with coasting.
Okay.
I don't know why coasting resonates with me so much differently than what I just said. I don't even remember what I just said. Autopilot. Yeah, coasting. And me realizing that, you know, I said, okay, hey, this is a loaded day for me. You know what? This appointment, can we meet at 3:45 instead of 3:30? You know, I need to do this. Please. I need to meet at 3:45 instead of 3:30. You know, needs and wants. Yeah. I don't have to justify it to anybody.
Right.
You know, it's just like, hey, we have a meeting at 3:30. Yeah. I need to reschedule to 3:45. Does that still work for you? Yeah. Yes. You know, and just finding ways to create space. Yeah. It doesn't matter where it's at. I could park in a parking lot before I go into a meeting, as long as I have, you know, like you said, it depends on the day. Yeah. Depends on my aura. If I'm super heavy, I might need 20, 30 minutes for space. I might need to just breathe in and breathe out. The box breathing that you taught me before, the 4 seconds in, the 4 seconds out, and did it as a box. I do that a lot.
When did I teach? Was that years ago, or how long ago was that?
I don't remember.
Because I haven't talked about that in a long time.
Yeah, really?
Box breathing. I haven't talked. I'm always practicing different breathing methods. Pranayama.
So let's mental note box breathing.
Okay, that's funny.
Let's talk about that. But
today. Yeah, keep going. Mental note box breathing. That just really made me
resonate. Yeah, it's not because I was doing that with one of my newer servers today at the restaurant.
Okay.
And then we have people up front. I'll resonate my story.
Okay. My today story. Do box breathing a lot. I don't want to take you off track.
And I'll do my today story. But just checking my schedule and just, you know, prioritizing my mental health. I'm moving this around. I need to create space for myself. And I think, like you said, you know, the hustle and bustle. That's what resonates. We all get caught in that hustle and bustle where people may feel guilty or be ashamed. Yeah. You know, or like they're not deserving of making time for themselves. You know, when at the end of the day, like, it's the most important thing you can do. And through reflecting with you and Andrea, I learned that, you know, the more I do in a day, you know, if it's, you know, 10, 20, 30 activities, the more time I need for space. Yeah. You know, and it really resonated with me when you said that. Let's transition into box breathing. Well, because okay, go ahead.
There's something else here like that I think about this all the time.
Okay, go ahead.
When it comes to wellness, it's something that I think about all the time in my prioritization. And it's about health, right? And so I say to myself, if I prioritize my wellness practices, then that puts my body and my brain at a place to where I can make better decisions, right? Moving forward. So, okay, I guess let me start by saying I have not actually verbally processed this out loud, but it's something that I've been sitting with and within me, and it's a way that I understand, but I've never. So I might stumble a little bit. Yeah. Give me grace. If I spend like a little bit more money on groceries to buy like vegetables, because I'm pescatarian, I don't eat meat, I eat fish though. So I'm like, okay, if I spend a little bit more money on my groceries to eat from the produce and the fish section only, and then if I spend money on a gym membership, which I don't spend money on it, well, I am this month. But if I spend the money on the gym membership, right, then those are investments because I'm taking care of my mental, physical. And then if I have a therapist, I'm spending money and time on my therapy. I'm investing into my overall well-being, right? And I'm doing preventative measures to make sure that my health isn't declining. It costs a little bit more on the front end. However, I'm also keeping myself off the back end to where I might be in the hospital dealing with health issues that I could have prevented, right? And then I'm also keeping myself off of the back end where I am feeling like sluggish or I cannot be creative the way that I need to be in order to be productive. Like investing in these things is investing into my productivity, my creativity, investing into my parenting. It's investing into my ability to be present with other people because I'm taking care of myself on the front end. You know what I mean? Because I'm eating in the proper way to nourish myself, and so that I can have energy to last through the day, right? And I'm exercising so that I can not have like life-threatening illnesses that I could have prevented if I would have maintained my nutrition. And I'm investing in my mental well-being so that I can show up as a healthy and whole and healed person, or healing person, who is self-aware and who recognizes my value and my self-worth and my esteem. And I'm not operating from a place of limitation, lack, or insecurity. You know what I mean? So those front-end investments feeds into keeping me off of the back end reactive state. For me to establish this type of a routine, they go on my calendar, like the most important meeting or the most important job thing, or like an important job interview. My wellness routine is on my calendar every day for that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's the habits, the behaviors, the rituals that you practice over time to make sure it's now routine.
Yeah.
It's probably even subconscious for you. You know, like you wake up and that's the first, you go to that. Like, okay, when am I getting my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When am I getting it on with myself today?
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
a part of my schedule.
I love that.
Yeah.
I admire and I love your discipline and your self-care and your self-love. I know you've been so inspirational to Andrea, you know, and Andrea knows this, and I'm sure, well, I don't want to project, but I'm sure she's okay with me saying this, that, you know, she's always putting the needs of others in front of herself. Always, you know, super mom, super fiance. It's always give. But I know that, you know, in our friendship that we have together, you've really inspired her to do self-love and journal, and she takes time out in space for that. You know, because without the self-help, what do you got?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or my cup is, I'm pouring from a deficit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Creedai, hey cousin. But Creedai, she says, she teaches like pour from your overflow. And I'm sure that y'all have heard this from other people like Ayana and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when they say pour from your overflow, that's what that means. It's like,
you
take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can show up the way that you're supposed to. Because if you are running on empty, you're really not showing up as your very best self. You are robbing yourself. You are robbing other people from those, from the highest potential, the highest self. You know?
I love that so much. That happened, not to tell too many stories, but that did happen to me when I was doing some consulting for a company last week or 2 weeks ago. And I've been coaching, and this person's been so receptive to the coaching that they were even identified within myself, like, hey, like, do you need some space today? I'm like, huh? Like, is this the teacher teaching the student, or the student teaching the teacher? You know what I'm saying? But I was so proud, and she was just like, you know what, like it's not about being good or bad or better or best or perfect.
Thank you.
She's like, I don't want to use the hierarchy words. She's like, but to use the hierarchy words, she's like, you are the most valuable and at your best when you have space and you come and you're at your best. That's when we're at our best together. When you're not, I would, you know, for the sake of value, I would prefer, if you need space, just take space. You don't gotta be here today. Yeah. Go take space. And I was Keena, I was almost in tears. Yeah. You know what I mean? To be in that environment, you know, to be consulting for a company, and that company person look at me and be like, you know what? Let's not jive today. Let's do it tomorrow. Yeah. You know, nothing's gonna change. You still gonna put your time in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The time just doesn't have to be today. Yeah. And for it to have that, like, that, I don't want to call it a buy-in, but to have that like belief system be a mutual understanding, you know, was beautiful. And I'm like, look at how blessed we are to be in these rooms where we're providing value and impact to companies, and we're focusing on our mental health. Yeah, it's a mutual agreement.
Once we as a culture, right, like as a nation, get to
as
a
a
point,
society,
right, where that is like the everyday norm and not like the diamond in the rough type of situation. And I think that we curate those type of lifestyles by practicing self-advocacy, by standing in our purpose, you know what I mean? And also recognizing that in other people, you know, recognizing what the benefits are in those ways of being.
Space days. So in some of the businesses that I work with, we do have that, where it's like, hey, like, if you come in and you can feel their energy, it's like, hey, like, do you want to talk? Do you want space? Like, what do you want? What do you need? But I'm just kind of having like an epiphany. You know how like people have like in different businesses, like They have what's that called? Like on call.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about normalizing mental health and prioritizing mental health within our society, I took it as like a business. Like if we could do that everywhere, if we do it in businesses and families and everything that we do, what if those like on-call days were now the on-call space days? You know what I'm saying? So like you have 2 or 3 team members that are on call for that shift.
Mm-hmm.
So if any 1 or 2 or 3 team members need space that day, they don't have to feel morally obligated
mm-hmm.
to drain themselves even further,
mm-hmm.
you know, to put themselves in a different state of mind. How fulfilling or empowering would you feel as a business or even as a team member to know that's like, man, I'm sad. Like my girlfriend just broke up with me after being with me for 2 years and I'm a senior in high school. I don't know what to do with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want some space today? Yeah, I would love to go for it.
It would have to be paid time off space days though, in order for it to feel like very.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because,
I get it. Yeah.
Because people sacrifice their well-being
for money. Yeah.
People will kill themselves for that.
Yeah.
For money. People kill themselves every day to make sure that their rent gets paid and that the lights stay on and that the car gets paid.
Yeah.
They sacrifice going to the doctor to see about something that's wrong.
PTO could change into PSD, paid space days.
Yes. I like that a lot.
I do. I love it.
You know, and so then it's
you have
like,
to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, there's a framework that has to be developed to establish that, to make sure that the company can thrive, right? It has to be built into the business plan to have the, to prioritize.
I have an idea for us. We're gonna talk about later. Yeah. Box breathing. Let's talk about box breathing because it came up. So today, and it prioritizing mental health. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this circles all back to prioritizing our mental health and our mental wellness. Today I had a newer server in the restaurant. And, you know, one of my leaders is in Texas. One of my leaders isn't feeling the best. She's taking care of her health. You know, and those are the people that normally work during the week. And we have this newer server and just exceeded expectations. Mm-hmm. You know, this is like her 4th day out of training. But, you know, for those of who have ever worked in a restaurant, when you get, you know, like 6, 7 tables, like even I myself as a business owner, I'm like, I was sweating today. I don't know if I got sweat stains or not. I took a shower today, but I was like kind of nervous. Like, man, I didn't bring an extra shirt. But we probably got to a point, you know, where, you know, we did close to like $500 in sales back-to-back hours with just her serving and me helping. Mm. So we probably had a solid 10 to 12 tables in here, and I'm busting. Mm-hmm. Like I got my bus card. I'm cleaning tables. I'm sanitizing my hand. I'm coughing. I got like 4 tables things on one tray. Like it was crazy. And then she got overwhelmed, and you know she was looking at me, and she started watering up. I was like, "Come here." And there's people up the front. I was like, "We'll be right with you." And it's somebody that knew me. They're like, "Okay, Drew, no problem. You know, we appreciate you. Thank you so much." I was like, "Come here." I was like, "Look at me." I was like, nothing matters right now. Mm. I was like, these guests, it's just you and me. It's a safe and supportive space. She was like, you know, looking at me, and I was like, okay, I want you to breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it. I was like, now I want you to breathe out. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I was like, I know, but we're not done. Hold on, please. I want to deliberately interrupt you. Now breathe in for another 4 seconds. Mm-hmm. And breathe out. Mm-hmm. And then I showed her the box. I was like, yeah. She made box. I was like, how do you feel? She's like, I feel so great. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay. When you get overwhelmed or you get stressed, take time to make space. 10 seconds of breathing for 4 seconds each. Mm-hmm. Just like you said, it just puts you in a completely different state of mind. I just got chills.
It's a chemical change in your nervous system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And people, and it was so cool. And even the guests in front were like, that was so cool to see you like teach somebody how to like, you know, not be so overwhelmed when they're overwhelmed. Like, yeah, it's like what we do. But like you have to provide the tools and resources to people in those moments when that's happening, or else what good is the knowledge? Yeah. You know, I'm not knowledge. Yeah. Knowledge isn't power. The application of knowledge is. But that's my today's story. Okay. Box breathing. You want to share a little bit about what box breathing is?
Yeah.
Just so the viewers understand.
Yeah. So basically, if you think of a square and put arrows on it, you know, you have your square. You're going to go, when you inhale is the square going up. And then the square going across is your hold. Mm. Then you're going down is the exhale. Mm. Then the line across is the hold. And then you bring it back in as the up, right? So it's a cycle. And the box is a visualization. It really works for children because they can look at the square.
I like that.
You know what I mean? So it really works for kids. And the reason and the different inhale times and the hold times, you know, with pranayama, that's why there's different types of breath to give you different types of energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like breathing practices that can energize you, breathing practices that can calm you, breathing practices, you know what I'm saying, they just do different type of things. It's just really like properly resourcing your brain to do to your nervous system whatever it needs to do to help with creating regulation. You know what I mean? And so that's really what it is, pranayama. And like whenever I start doing breathing, like I remember my when I was in my yoga teacher training, my 200-hour training, and I was learning about different breathing practices. And since then, like I've studied many different practices. I'm studying breathing practices all the time. Every day I practice. And so, you know, you can literally kind of feel it in the back of your spine, right? When the shift is happening, you can feel it like in your shoulders. You know, you can feel it in like your energy and your awareness. And it works with people. It works with all humans. And I mean, and I work with little people, my child. Like when I tell him, my little son, when I tell Caleb, like, all right, are you upset? Do you want to do some breathing? Go ahead and do some breathing exercise. And he'll do the breathing exercises, or else I will just lay hand on him and ask him to breathe. Go ahead and breathe into my hand, right? With humans, again, there's different techniques that really help with them to really embody what it is, the practice, to feel it. Like if your hand on your chest, your hand on your stomach to help them breathe deeper. All right, make my hand rise and fall. And they can do it to themselves. But anyway, we can talk about all different types of breath work.
So I'm glad both of our breath is minty fresh.
Well,
shout out to Colgate.
You know I ate some fish on the way here.
So I'm just when you said fish, I thought about fish too. I want some fish.
I had some good salmon that I cooked last night in the air fryer.
You got my permission. Okay. That if you ever make food and you bring us a podcast, I will eat it. Okay. I'll eat anything you bring. Deal. So I'm having an epiphany and the transition and fade out. I think a lot of unveiling your authentic self is what we are encouraging our viewers to do. It's overwhelming. I think it can be overwhelming. I think it can cause anxiety. I think there's a lot of fear behind it. I think it is very crucial and detrimental to the growth of our audience and our viewers that want to find themselves to learn some different breathing practices. So I don't want to commit because we normally don't overcommit to what we're going to talk about next week. But I think even going through some different breathing strategies and some techniques, and we could even, you know, like, practice. Yeah, we can do that. And you can demonstrate with me and vice versa. And Andrea, that would be great because I want to learn some breathing exercises too, other than the box breathing. So absolutely. So we'll bring you know, if we got a sponsor out there, you know, we could put some mouthwash here, put your name on it, boom. You know what I mean?
And I don't know about that. Yeah, sponsor. I was just thinking when you said that, I was thinking to myself, like, why? But because all inhales should be through the nose. Yeah. Let me say that. Reason why, because that allows your breath to move in, hit your brain and your spine. Yeah. But not all exhales have to be through the nose. Some exhales are better through the mouth, especially if you're frustrated or feeling tension in the body. Yeah. Not all breaths have to be quiet. Some breaths need to be loud and noisy. Okay. So we can talk about all of that. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm so excited. Listen, you got me. Don't get me into my element. I feel like I'm helping guide your element, and you're going to have a bunch of stuff. A bunch of breathing we're going to be doing. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll do a few breath exercises. And purpose and intent. And like I said, just so no one's getting lost. So you have tools. So you have tools to utilize when you're finding yourself and you're making courageous decisions that are, you know, causing anxiety, that are causing some sadness, the fear, frustration, anger. You know, this is going to be a very, very crucial thing to learn. So be on the lookout next week. Tell your friends. Keena's going to be teaching some breathing exercises. This is going to be a powerful tool for everybody to learn. I'm so excited. It is. Guided tools from the oldest ancient spiritual wisdoms. I love it. Now, if we talking podcast tools, let me try this. You can find us on all platforms. Can you hold me accountable? Correct me if I'm wrong. You can find Good, Bad, Breakthrough on all platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. This is why Keena does what she does. iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. Yeah. And then we're on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep. We drop new episodes on Tuesday. We do flashback episodes on Thursdays. Holla back. So check us out. We're excited. Please, y'all. I know y'all are watching us and y'all message us. Just like the page on Facebook. Leave a review. A review helps. Shout out to Jaleesa for leaving the 5-star review. Who's listening to every podcast. But
and 5 stars on the platform that you listen on too.
Yeah. Just hit that 5-star button if you like us and you listen, and it helps us out. It helps us help you.
Yeah.
So holla back.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank y'all. See you next week.
Time.